So here we are, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17. The episode starts out with the queens playing a game of Ru Light Green Light in a parody of the Squid Games called the Squirrel Games. If a queen is clocked by moving after the music stops, she gets pied in the face. We got to see Pork Chop, of course, be the first to be pied. Then other Drag Race legends like Trinity the Tuck, Angeria, Kylie Sonique Love, and Morgan McMichaels also get pied, as well as local queens from the LA area. Of course, all of the Season 17 queens made it to the finish line and advanced to Season 17. The queens then entered the workroom. First up is Lexi Love from Louisville, Kentucky. She looks a bit like J. Jolie to me. She was in what I would call a Valentine's Day inspired outfit. She looked cute. She called her drag Avant Stupid with 2 O's. Next up is Joella from Los Angeles. She was in an ancient expired gown and said that her shows were high energy. She was followed by Corey King from Boston. She looks a bit like Priyanka in the face to me. She looked good in a tight orange and pink mini dress with very large blonde hair. She's drag sisters with Plain Jane. Lydia B. Collins from Pittsburgh was next. She looked cute in her Beetlejuice-inspired garment and also in her confessional look. She called herself a DIY queen. Irene the Alien's drag daughter, Arietta, is next. She looked cute in her punk rock outfit with elf ears. She said that she hoped to go further than her mother did in Drag Race. Jules Sparkles from Tampa, Florida is next. She looks a lot like Georges to me and looked good in her pink dress. She said she was the Latina supermodel with 1 brain cell. Lana Jarre from New York was next, wearing as little yellow as possible. She's the drag daughter of Lux Noir London. Sam Starr from Leeds, Alabama was next. She said that she was the supermodel of the South. She's the drag daughter of Trinity the Tuck and the drag aunt of Jules Sparkles. Anya Nerve from Cleveland was next. She gave a 70s disco vibe. She said her drag represented blackness. Susie Toots from Fort Lauderdale is next. She said that her drag was a cross between Betty Boop and Lucille Ball. Hormona Lisa from Chattanooga, Tennessee was next in pink. She was supposedly handpicked by RuPaul to be on the show. I thought they all were, weren't they? Crystal Envy from Asbury Park, New Jersey was next in light pink. She looked good. Acacia Forgot, the honky-tonk queen of Los Angeles, was next in red and black. She plays many musical instruments and her goal is to play the Grand Ole Opry. Lucky Stars from Miami is next. I really can't describe how she was dressed except to say that it looked fun. She said that she was your animated fantasy come to life. RuPaul then welcomed the queens to the season and announced that they had already done the mini challenge, a photo shoot during the Squirrel Games. The winner was Lana Jarre. She became $2,500 richer. Ru announced that Rate a Queen was back and that it was a 2-part premiere. Half the queens perform in a talent show with the other half next week. The queens not performing this week will rate the performing queens and vice versa next week. The bottom queen each week will then lip sync with 1 queen being eliminated each week. Ru then said that the queens would have to decide who would perform each week and that this week's guest judge would be Katy Perry. Joella then said that she was a Katy Perry superfan, and then they showed various photos of the two together. The queens then found their places in the workroom, and they were very thirsty. They were also discussing what they would do for the talent show. Corey then brought the queens together to determine the talent show order. There were 6 who wanted to go week 1, and 8 who wanted to go week 2. Lydia flipped and decided to go in week 1, and the lineups were set. While getting ready, Jules Sparkles spoke of how she had to get a new spine as a result of a tumor when she was 14. She had to learn how to walk again and has to be careful in her movements. She called herself a bionic supermodel. Lucky Star spoke of her family being homeless as a result of an accident that her stepfather had that resulted in the loss of his hand. Katy Perry came into the workroom and the queens lost their minds. Katy recognized Joella immediately. She told them that they needed to show real and fantasy. Give us the drag character and the person behind the character. Joella then got emotional afterward. Here are the runways. First up is Acacia Forgot, dressed as a snowman. He went from snow to hoe. Joella was next. Katy called her the #1 Katy Cat. Jules Sparkles dazzled in baby blue. Arietta looked fantastic in white with blood dripping down the garment. Lydia Collins was dressed conceptually. Lucky Stars was dressed like a pizza. Susie Toots gave the quintessential Susie Toots experience. Corey King looked elegant in a black raven dress. Hormona Lisa was dressed like a skunk. Crystal Envy gave porcelain baby doll realness. Lexi Love dressed as the Moon Man MTV Music Award, fitting for the channel they're on this season. Lana Del was dressed like a cat. Her cat, Gouda. Anya Nerve gave black opulence. She took her time on the runway. Rue laughed hysterically. Sam Star had a cloud over her head that was raining, and then the cloud disappeared and revealed her rainbow outfit. We then saw the first part of the talent show. First up is Jules Sparkles, who gave a high-energy dance to an original song, La Leche. She did a great job. Arietta then gave a dance with a lot of dress twirling. There wasn't much drag to the performance. Lydia then gave a burlesque performance about her middle name, Butthole. It started out good but fizzled out. Lucky Stars then made lemonade that shot out of her boobs. It was an interesting and very campy performance with lemonade flying everywhere. Joella then gave a standard lip-sync performance to her original song. It wasn't as high energy as you'd expect based on her talk beforehand. Acacia Forgot then was dressed like Colonel Sanders in drag while singing and playing the guitar. It was forgettable, maybe that was the point. Last up was Susie Toots with a tap dance performance. I think it was as good as there was a bit more variety in this season's talent show. Rue then told the queens that there would be no judges' critiques this week, as the queens would be rating each other. They did speak about each queen while the queens untucked in the workroom. The judges loved Jules' performance and Carson loved her runway. Katie said that Arietta's performance wasn't draggy enough. She needed a reveal or something. They did appreciate her bringing her culture to the stage, however. The judges said that Lydia's performance started out great but went south. Michelle really enjoyed Lucky Star's performance. Katie said that Joella's look during the talent show could have been better. Katie couldn't understand the words in Acacia Forgot's song, and Carson was unimpressed by the runway. Michelle didn't like Susie's makeup, but they all really enjoyed the talent show performance. The queens then rated the talent show performances. Some of the queens were strategic and were setting up friendships for later. Back on stage, Rue revealed that, based on the rate of queen, Joella, Arietta, Lydia, and Lucky Stars were safe. That left Acacia Forgot, Jules Sparkles, and Susie Toots on stage. Who is in the bottom and will have to lip sync next week? Acacia Forgot was rated in the bottom and will lip sync next week. That left Jules Sparkles and Susie Toots as the top two. They would lip sync for the win to Woman's World by Katy Perry. After a lip sync that Sparkles probably won, Susie was given the win. This was probably one of those wins based on Rue's enjoyment of the talent show than actual lip sync performance. Do you agree with the Queen's placements this week? Do you agree that Susie won the week? Let me know in the comments.